Greetings. I'm going to talk a little bit about the structure of what I'm calling modern music, but it's really just my system of organizing and recording songs. First off, I have live instruments, like I have a Juno 60 and an old Korg synthesizer. I've got FM synthesizers. I've got a few of those, and they're older kind of stuff mostly. I've got a couple of newer ones, new synthesizers, but they're more boutique items. They're inexpensive as far as synthesizers go, but they're also older and more fragile, so they're, prone to damage and that sort of thing. So you have to be careful with them. Those are good. Like if you want to stand up and play the keyboard, I've got a rack full of those kind of keyboards, and mostly Roland. I have a Moog Prodigy. I've got the Behringer Model D, which is a clone of the original Mini Moog, and I've got a Korg Poly 6, but it's got a lot of damage. The batteries spewed acid and ruined some of the circuitry. It's kind of a mess. It was working somewhat, and I was trying to clean the keys one day, the keyboard, and it has a sort of a rubber suction cup apparatus for each key, and I sprayed it with tuner cleaner, not realizing that it would melt the plastic, so it ruined that whole strip. So I could, if it's not any worse off than before, I could replace that one rubber strip and it would work again. I'm just not sure that it's worth it because, I've got virtual versions of all these things. That was the next part of my categories. I've got the external hardware synthesizers, but I've also got computerized virtual instruments, or plugins, as they're called. And those actually sound better than the real thing, partly because you get to eliminate connections. A lot of the noise and grinding sounds that you have in audio equipment, the awful noise is caused from the instruments themselves. They make noise, sometimes radio noise, so you have to be careful of that. So the structure of the music, the first rule was I could use anything that the computer could play. So it had to be an FM synthesizer or one of the two Behringer clones. The other one I have is a clone of a Sequential Circuits Prophet 600. This one's the Behringer Pro 800, and it has, there's something lacking in it. I mean, I mean, you have to realize if you buy a synthesizer, a polyphonic 8-voice polyphonic synthesizer for $400, you can't expect it to be, an Oberheim just like that, or a real sequential circuits. It's just not the same. It probably doesn't have as many components inside. It probably lacks certain built-in filters and shapers that would make it a smoother sounding instrument. It's got some nice things so far. I've always so far used it as a string machine. It does a fairly good string sound. It's not particularly realistic, but it's if you play it in low registers, it's pretty growly and mean. Sounds pretty good. And there's all kind of other sounds in there that I haven't heard. I've tried to find a map or a menu that somebody could have made, but even I'm not finding anything like that. So I don't know what's in there. And as far as dialing up a sound on that thing, it's got to be easier than a FM synthesizer when it comes to programming, but something like that would probably be a preset thing. I may have to make some presets because the ones on the lower end of the number scale are just sad, poor. They got this synthesizer with 16 oscillators, and the voices sound like a music box. It's just really. That's my review of the Behringer Pro 800. It looks good. There are some sounds I've heard it make that were okay, but my CZ1000 was a better sounding instrument so far. I may change my tune over time, but so far it's hard to really get excited about it. Anyway, okay, so that was my stage one. Was using all those MIDI instruments, and it turned out that the iPad or iPad Logic Pro was perfectly suited to using those, because it was able to export all of their information to an external sound file, like a WAV file or an MP3, and that was a surprise. It was painless. It was like, you didn't have to do anything. It just worked. And this kind of been the story of the iPad Logic for iPad. Everything works. You have to do it a certain way. Like there's an iPad way of doing it on the Logic, but it's solid. It's a good software. I'm pretty impressed with the software on the iPad. The trick is finding what the tool you need. Like if you've worked with sequencers for years and you pick up an iPad Pro on a iPad, a Logic Pro on an iPad, if you pick it up and you start working with it, it's not obvious how to make it do things. A lot of the simplest, easiest kind of things you could do just aren't obvious, and maybe somebody needs to write a good tutorial, how to get started, how to make the transfer from the old school to the new school and that kind of thing. Um, who knows? Maybe I'll do that. I want to make some music first. I'm still putting that off. Here. I am talking about it. I could be making it. Oh wait. Okay. Well, so much. See you later.